I welcome this legislation and I welcome you in the position. And I saw what how steadfast you stood against the big industry, big business when the time of the gambling intervened. I fought with you on that bill, but you had the resolve to stick with it. So I know, and I thank you for meeting and engaging with us as well, and the briefings. Minister, but I think you have a big task here, a monumental task. And I've said this to you privately, and I'll say it again. Unless the Custom House is dismantled, so it's levelled in the War of Independence. I don't mean to hurt anybody, but it has to be dismantled and get out the rot that's in there. Some good people in there, don't get me wrong, many good people, but there's a rot and malaise in there and it has to be tackled because otherwise we're going nowhere. We've had 7 or 8 housing ministers here in the last 18 years since I came in, and they've all failed miserably because you have an intangible, you have a situation where they feel they're all powerful and they know it all and they won't deal with county councils or anybody else. Please ask you to do that, because if you don't, you're going to fail. I'm asking you also I said to you privately, send Mr. Cousin, the planning regulator, send him out to Donald Trump or somewhere, or send him out to wherever, Gaza, he might help someone out there. He created a job for himself. By the way, he came from the Custom House all his life, or a lot of his career. He created this position for himself, and the fools in government gave it to him. And give him the power to rezone land all over the country. He undermined every council in the country, every council that worked hard on the plans, in the development plans, he undermined them all by rezoning the land. There you are now trying to rezone some of that land again. He went off, he created a job for himself and went off on a fantasy tour, power hungry and power greedy and no accountable to nobody. He has to be stood down, he's not necessary. Give the power to the county councils, give the, which they should have it, and give it to Board Penala. Here we go again, Board Penala. There was a lot of corruption in there, we know that. And by changing the name, we had an experience here of changing Irish Water to Ischgl. We didn't even get clean water out of it. Not a mind to say any schemes done. Changing the name veneer from, and I love Massaman Gaeliga, Igoni, you saw it maybe Igoni. I love the Irish name, but changing it on Commission Penala isn't going to cut the mustard, isn't going to get out the rot where their inspectors go down to see one-off houses or some other small developments and give a favourable report for the Council of Granted Planning and the board or whoever is in the board, unaccountable, unelected people, just throw it in the bin. That is shameful, and no one should get that power. We had visionaries here like T.K. Whittier and Sean Lemass here in the past and others, and they brought us a long way. We built the houses in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. And then things went wrong with big developers, crazy, and that Custom House down there, and ministers unable to tackle it. Ministers are afraid of it and pushed off and fobbed off by it. So I'm depending on you to do this. I am. There's many other issues in Minister. The councils where they have the powers, they don't use them. We have a section 160, a power that local authorities have. And which are judges, last count Cola, with a situation in Clonmel and Giantsgrave, where all the decent people, 200 met in a hall last Friday night week, worried that a halting site was being created under their noses right beside them. And 6 of us then, 6 Clonmel Board District members and the Mayor, and 2 Oireachtas members, Deputy Murphy and myself, met with the senior planner, Mr. Dave Callan now, who was the fire officer, who didn't do his job when he was fire officer. He didn't visit Dundrum House Hotel. We asked him for 12 months to visit. He never went near the place. So now he's the planner, and he refused point blank for the council to initiate a 160 to stop this in its tracks. He has that power. He wouldn't use it. He was talking about courts and that he might lose in the courts. They lost in the courts last week. Thankfully, the good people of Dundrum, the Heritage Group, took a judicial review, and the council had to admit halfway through it, give in, put their hands up. We made a mistake in granting a section 5 to allow a greedy developer to get fatter and more money in his pocket, not on humanitarian grounds. So the council have the powers and they can use them when they want to, but changing the name of Board Penala without tackling the malaise and the rot and the deep rot in the Custom House is wasteful. It might be a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. Count the number of housing ministers we've had here and see all the unfortunate people that are homeless and still on waiting lists and languishing there and no hope, and see where small builders have been denied the right to build the houses and let them off. But above all, once off, the weddings should be allowed to be carried on, and don't be allowing people in offices in Dublin throw out good planning commissions and kill young couples' dreams in rural Ireland. Good.